This isn't some stage show for an ego trip. Kristi, this is people's lives we're talking about. Recently, in a stunning exchange that captured the attention of Americans across the political spectrum, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem took a bizarre turn during a public feud with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. The moment erupted after Crockett, known for her straight-shooting attitude and fierce dedication to justice, urged Noem to resign following the governor's continued string of humiliating public statements and unhinged political decisions. Instead of responding with any semblance of humility or reason, Noem lashed out with a sarcastic tirade that sounded more like a poorly written reality show monologue than a response from an elected official. In a tone dripping with mockery, Noem declared that Crockett had no authority to tell her what to do and added an outrageous demand that she be provided with a $50 million private jet to support what she labeled her ICE Barbie performance. The sheer absurdity of the statement sparked disbelief, but what followed next ensured that Noem's bizarre rant would go down in political history for all the wrong reasons. Crockett didn't just answer back, she verbally dismantled Kristi Noem in a jaw-dropping 2-minute response that left the governor shaken and millions of viewers stunned. Kristi Noem's latest detour into spectacle comes after a series of political blunders that have left even some of her own party members questioning her stability and direction. Noem has long courted controversy, but her recent behavior, which includes making tone-deaf comments about her past actions, including the now infamous revelation that she shot her own dog, has pushed her deeper into the territory of political parody. While her defenders claim she is merely being honest and relatable, critics argue that Noem has become a symbol of what happens when public officials prioritize viral moments over meaningful policy. Jasmine Crockett saw through the performance. In calling for Noem's resignation, she didn't act on a whim. Crockett cited a troubling pattern of behavior that reflects not only poor judgment but a flagrant disregard for the responsibility of leadership. Her words weren't personal, they were a call for accountability. But instead of owning her role, Noem decided to mock the process, mock the office, and mock the criticism with an outlandish fantasy about a private jet and a Barbie-themed political persona. It was the kind of moment that might have faded into the cycle of political absurdity, were it not for what happened next. Jasmine Crockett, standing calm and collected, issued a response that did what many politicians fail to do. It struck to the heart of the issue with clarity, truth, and zero tolerance for nonsense. Her voice was unshaken, her expression controlled, but her words cut through the performative layers of Noem's persona like a hot knife through butter. She began by taking direct aim at the ICE Barbie remark, saying, "This isn't a costume party, this is governance. This is about people's lives." That line, spoken plainly but powerfully, set the tone for what would become one of the most memorable political takedowns in recent memory. Crockett didn't shout, she didn't insult, she simply laid out the facts with a precision that made it impossible for Noem to hide behind her sarcasm. Crockett highlighted the gravity of Noem's ICE Barbie persona, pointing out that immigration enforcement has long been a source of pain and fear in immigrant communities. While families are separated, children are detained, and fear permeates everyday life for undocumented individuals and asylum seekers, Noem thought it appropriate to inject glamour and irony into one of the most traumatizing issues in American policy. Crockett's voice cracked ever so slightly as she said, "To brand yourself with the word ICE, an agency whose tactics have scarred countless families, and to pair that with a Barbie fantasy is not just insulting, it's cruelty dressed in pink." Her words drew a line between the real and the absurd, between those who suffer in silence and those who turn their suffering into an Instagram moment. The room was quiet. There were no applause breaks, no interruptions, just the sound of truth washing over the artificial noise Noem had created. Then came the dismantling of Noem's $50 million jet demand, a statement so outlandish it barely seemed real. Crockett didn't just dismiss the idea, she weaponized it. She explained, in painful detail, what $50 million could do if invested in real people instead of political fantasy. $50 million could build safe housing for women escaping domestic violence. It could equip schools in low-income communities with new books, desks, and technology. It could fund mental health programs for veterans. But instead, you want a jet, you want luxury while our constituents live with scarcity. She let the silence carry that weight. It wasn't about shaming wealth, it was about confronting the priorities that define a leader. Noem had revealed hers, and Crockett wasted no time exposing how misaligned they were with the needs of the American people. The power of Crockett's rebuttal wasn't only in the words themselves, but in the fact that they came from a place of lived experience. Unlike Noem, who has positioned herself in a world far removed from everyday struggles, Crockett has built her political identity on advocacy for the underserved. She has sat with grieving families, marched with activists, and challenged policies that hurt the vulnerable. That authenticity resonated. She wasn't acting. She wasn't performing. She was speaking truth to power in a way that made the spectacle surrounding Noem look even more hollow. "This isn't reality TV," she said. "You don't get to script your image and expect the rest of us to applaud. We're too busy trying to fix the damage your political theater leaves behind." And damage there has been. Crockett reminded viewers that Noem's leadership in South Dakota has included attacks on transgender rights, the rollback of reproductive freedoms, and a reckless approach to pandemic management. These aren't just policy disagreements, they're lives affected, futures compromised. Crockett asked the audience to consider what kind of leader mocks accountability while hiding behind personas, pointing out that public office isn't meant for those who crave spotlight, it's meant for those ready to face the storm. "You don't get to say you don't tell me what to do when your decisions impact millions," Crockett said, referencing Noem's petulant response to her resignation call. "That's not strength, that's cowardice dressed in defiance." The takedown sparked a wave of responses across the country. Political commentators scrambled to weigh in, with many praising Crockett's ability to maintain composure while delivering such a thorough and devastating critique. Social media lit up with praise, with phrases like "Jasmine just ended Kristi Noem's political career in 2 minutes," trending on multiple platforms. Political analysts pointed out that while Noem tried to dismiss the confrontation with sarcasm, Crockett responded with substance, and in today's world, substance speaks louder than spectacle when delivered with clarity. The comparison between the two women couldn't have been starker, one focused on glitter and jets, the other on justice and governance. What also became clear in the aftermath was the broader symbolism of this moment. Crockett versus Noem wasn't just a clash of personalities, it was a clash of ideologies, of visions for America's future. On one side, a politician who treats the national stage as her personal runway, who dismisses criticism with mockery, and who uses humor to sidestep serious failings. On the other, a representative rooted in community, unafraid to speak uncomfortable truths, and committed to the principles that should guide leadership. It wasn't just a verbal clash, it was a philosophical one. Crockett wasn't merely speaking to Noem, she was speaking to every official who believes the seat they occupy is theirs to flaunt rather than honor. As for Kristi Noem, her silence following Crockett's takedown spoke volumes. For someone quick to speak, quick to mock, quick to perform, she suddenly had nothing to say. Her followers tried to spin the exchange, but the damage was done. She had been confronted not with insults, but with truth, and truth, when delivered with such conviction, doesn't fade, it lingers. Jasmine Crockett didn't gloat, she didn't celebrate, she did what real leaders do, she told the truth and let the people decide what to do with it. And judging by the public reaction, the people heard her loud and clear. What remains now is the ripple effect. Crockett's response has reinvigorated conversations about what kind of leadership America needs. Voters are questioning not just Noem's antics, but the broader trend of politicians turning public service into a brand. There is a growing hunger for authenticity, for leaders who don't hide behind personas, who understand the struggles of the people they represent. In many ways, Crockett's 2-minute speech wasn't just a response, it was a manifesto, a reminder that the people still value truth, substance, and courage, and that no amount of glamour, jets, or Barbie fantasies can replace the grit it takes to actually lead. So if this moment moved you, if you found yourself nodding along with Crockett's words, or shaking your head at the performative chaos that has overtaken so much of our politics, make sure you stay part of this conversation. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you never miss these powerful moments. The fight for truth in politics isn't over, it's just beginning, and we need every voice to rise with it.